All right, time for the Week 17 final NFL 2014 week roundup, and then I'm going to go into the wild card round prediction video for the playoffs, which will not be including a game that the Eagles will be playing, even though they won 10 games this year. All right, I'm over it. Speaking of those Eagles, they lost to the New York... Excuse me. Jesus Christ, I can't give them credit when they win. They beat the New York Giants 34-26. Already went over that game. Not much more to add to that, so I'm just going to move on to the other games. Cleveland at Baltimore. Now, the bigger story coming out of this game is what happened before this game, with Josh Gordon ended up getting suspended by the team for missing a practice because he was supposedly at a party with Johnny Manziel the night before on a Friday night or Saturday, whatever the fuck it was. It's really sad what this kid is doing to his what could be a very bright potential career here in the NFL. He is a wrongful sneeze away from just being terminated by the league altogether. Not to mention, who is going to fucking re-sign this guy? He is an error away from getting kicked out of the league forever. He's not going to get a big payday. He's a consistent fuck-up. And of course it's Cleveland that this happens to. Of course it's Cleveland. Anyway, on top of Johnny Manziel looking like he's not going to be the real deal. But anyway, we'll see how he looks next year anyways. Jacksonville finishes out an impressive season by losing to the Houston Texans 23-17. And San Diego, with everything on the line to play for, handed the Baltimore Ravens a spot in the playoff because the Baltimore Ravens ended up beating the Cleveland Browns, by the way, I didn't mention the score, 20-10. San Diego could not afford to lose this game. If they did, and then Baltimore wins, Baltimore goes into the playoffs. So Baltimore heads into the playoffs because San Diego loses 19-7 against the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, Kansas City had a bit of a collapse themselves. I think they were like 7-3, 7-4 at one point, and then they didn't end up making the playoffs. Poor Andy Reid. It breaks my heart. The New York Jets, and they beat the Miami Dolphins 37-24. Geno Smith has a 150, I think it's like 158 his quarterback rating was, 3 touchdowns. what a fuck you to the fans that was. Like, he's going to all of a sudden come out and look impressive. Dude, that fan base is so moved on past you. I don't know, unless some of you still hang on and think you have a chance with them. If you do, you're fucking delusional. Oh boy, Geno Smith, way to go out with a bang, and this Miami defense that has been looking good all year lets Geno Smith come into Miami and fuck them up. God damn, Miami. God damn, what a fucking sour note to end your season on. The Chicago Bears with, I don't know who the fuck they were starting at quarterback. Actually, was it Cutler? Let me just check real quick. I thought it... Oh, it is Cutler. What am I saying? That's right, because the other guy ends up getting hurt. Anyway, Cutler with a very impressive performance for his team, helping the offense get a total of 9 points. Couldn't even get the double digits. What a fitting fucking end for the Bears season. Losing to the NFC North rival, the Minnesota Vikings, 13-9. Wow, what an exciting fucking game that must have been to watch. Buffalo beats New England. Oh, Buffalo. See, this is what I said a couple weeks ago, that Buffalo has a really good shot at going to the playoffs because they have a bad matchup team. Well, bad for Green Bay going into Buffalo. I was like, I think they're going to get that game. But then they end up fucking losing last week. And I was like, that final week of the season, New England might not have much to play for, and sure enough, New England ends up playing Garoppolo for half of the game. They didn't have much to play for because Denver lost the previous week. They already had the number 1 spot locked up. This was Buffalo's perfect season to get into the playoffs, and they fucked it up last week. Unfucking believable. Goddamn Bills. Goddamn Bills, Browns, and Eagles. What the fuck? Well, at least the Bills and Eagles won the final week of the season. Not that it means much of anything. Sorry, Browns fans. The New Orleans Saints winning on the road against Tampa Bay, 23-20. Who cares? They didn't make the playoffs. Unfucking believable. This was a team that I was for certain going to at least be in the NFC Championship this year. let alone a team that has, I think they were like 500 or had a losing record at home. Like, there's no fucking excuse for that shit, New Orleans. None. I don't know what the fuck happened or what the excuse is going to be, whether it's injuries or whatnot, but man, they looked fucking trash. Indianapolis beats the Tennessee Titans. Anyone in the league should be able to beat the Tennessee Titans. They're the worst team in the league. Dallas Cowboys. Boy, do they got a cold hand going into the playoffs. Oh, boys. I hate to be the team who face them because they're going to carve them up. Oh, my God. Anyway, Dallas wins over the Redskins, avenges that loss that they suffered in Dallas at the hands of the Redskins. Whoop that Redskins ass 44-17. Ouch, ouch, ouch. This Redskins team just beat the fucking Eagles. What does that tell you? Anyway, Atlanta. Everything to play for in this game. Everything. Could have saved your coach's job. Could have saved an ounce of decency and respect for your team because you would have went into the playoffs with a strong hand, a strong push. It was a weak season, and you guys have looked like a weak team, but looked like in the end, in the stretch, you got your shit together. People would at least been able to acknowledge that. What do? You put up 3 fucking points at home with everything on the line. Unfucking believable. That was probably the most disappointing loss I've seen from a team in a must-win game all year here, with a playoff spot on the line. You do not lose 34-3 against a team that's been having trouble scoring, that gets multiple turnover touchdowns on you. What the fuck? And you do it at home, Atlanta. That just pissed me the fuck off. Anyways, Detroit goes into Green Bay and does what Detroit does when they go into Green Bay, which is lose 30-20. And Ndamukong Suh is probably the dumbest fucking football player that there is. Now, I don't care if you think that what he did in stepping on Aaron Rodgers was an accident or whatever. His track record and his past actions are why he is suspended for this playoff game upcoming against Dallas, in Dallas. This motherfucker, he just... Again, I think it was deliberate what he did with raising his foot. Because you know the second your foot steps on something and you know the quarterback is somewhere in that area. And the fact that it was Aaron Rodgers they did this to. Anyway, if this was just a one-time thing or it wasn't some punk ass that had a reputation for doing this shit, you wouldn't have cost your team severely in a playoff shot against the fucking Cowboys, you asshole. Unfucking believable. Here you go, Dallas. Here's a real hard game for you to play against now. Biggest piece on defense is go fucking jerk off. Stupid motherfucker. Anyway, whether or not you feel that shit was intentional, what he did to Aaron Rodgers is besides the point, because it's his past actions of being a dumb fucking ass that got his ass suspended for this playoff game. Oakland loses to Denver 47-14. Who cares? Peyton Manning going in as a not wild card team, but has to play a wild card team in the first round. It's very rare that you actually see that happen. He's usually getting a 1 or 2 spot locked up. Arizona loses to San Francisco. Oh, Arizona. By the way, congrats to the Panthers for making the playoffs. I know it's a shit division and all, but they're going to have to go on and face the Arizona Cardinals now. We'll get onto that in a second. But anyways, Arizona and Lindley, I just feel so bad for this team at this point. The fact that they've been through 4 fucking quarterbacks this year. It may have to come down to potentially having a rookie play in a playoff game and that having been his first real-time experience. That's fucking insane. Anyways, St. Louis losing to Seattle at Seattle 20-6. Seattle wrapping up that number 1 spot. Just like I told you a few weeks ago, Seattle is on a warpath. Ever since they beat the Eagles, I was like, they are just going to march right into that number 1 spot, and that's exactly what they did. The path to the Super Bowl has to go through Seattle now. And I don't think a lot of people like that, except for a certain team in Texas that already beat them in Seattle this year, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Cincinnati, with everything to play for and hold on to that division lead, loses to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that I highly underestimated this year. Steelers have done their thing, and they've done it convincingly. The team just, I don't care if they don't look like the most talented team on paper, that is a team that just knows how to win. And sometimes that's really all you need. You just need players that are good enough, and you need players that know how to win. You got a good coach, and just a fucking real good team to watch, and I hate it. I hate the fucking Steelers, but it's a good football team to watch. It's the type of football I like to see. But anyway, let's get into these wild card playoff round matchups. Only 4 games to cover here, so this video is going to be a bit shorter than my usual football videos. Starting off Saturday, 4:35 start time, Arizona at Carolina. Carolina hosting a home game as a what was their final record, by the way? I think they had 7-8-1. So they're technically it's technically a 500 team. I mean, they're like, half a game under 500. So at least it's not just a 7-win team. It's a 7.5 win team. So that's a little bit better than that Seattle team that went into the playoffs. It's like 6 years ago that beat the Saints in the first round. Anyway. It's a damn shame because you can only do so much when you go through your second, third, fourth string quarterbacks, and you can't win a playoff game. I don't care if Carolina is the softest team going into the playoffs. Take a shot. Phone interrupted. If the Carolina is one of the softest teams going into the playoffs from a really soft division, no one respects them or shit like that, at least their defense is playing rather impressively, especially last week against the Falcons. Anyway, look for Carolina to win, and it's a damn shame because the sky was the limit for Arizona, and it's just such a shit ending, and there's nothing they can do about it because it's just there's injuries, and then there's what happened to the fucking Cardinals this year. And it just sucks. The bad breaks from a team that was really clicking this year. Anyway. The rivalry is back. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I've been to quite a few Baltimore-Pittsburgh games. 4 exactly, but none of which in the playoffs. And Baltimore has that monkey on their back. They've been their fair share of recently kicking the Pittsburgh Steelers in the ass in the regular season, but they could just have trouble beating that team in the playoffs. This could be that finally have that game where they take down Roethlisberger in the playoffs. I think Baltimore is a team that, even though they're coming in as that 6th seed, no one wants to play a team like this. This is a team just 2 years off of a Super Bowl win. This is a team of experienced players. This is a team with a guy like Joe Flacco that is one of this era's most consistent and best quarterbacks in the postseason. Might not be, Peyton Manning in the regular season or anything, but the kid knows how to get it done in the postseason. Joe Flacco has been down this road before. That being said, Pittsburgh is a team that knows how to fucking win themselves. And it's in Pittsburgh. I honestly, this is such a toss-up fucking game. I think this is the year Baltimore's finally going to beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs. I'm going with Baltimore. But I do not feel confident in that pick at all. Going into Sunday's game, Cincinnati at Indianapolis. My God, Cincinnati, are you finally going to win a playoff game? No. I don't think Indianapolis is going to go far, but I honestly got to think that they're going to beat Cincinnati at home in Indianapolis. I just call it a gut feeling. I think on paper Cincinnati's the better team, but the way they lost to the Steelers and just how that team looked, it didn't look like that team that's ready to push up to the next level. It doesn't look like the team that has that intestinal fortitude. They looked great against Denver the week before Monday Night Football, but Pittsburgh just showed them they're just not ready. That Pittsburgh game just take another shot. The Pittsburgh game just showed them that they don't look like a team that's ready to do some damage. Not that Indianapolis is exactly wowing the world, but with all things being relatively equal, I'll take Andrew Luck right now. I'll take Andrew Luck right now over Gingerbread Man. Anyway, ending out on Sunday. Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. God damn you, Khan Sue, Donkey Kong Sue, whatever the fuck your name is. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways. Ndamukong, Ndamukong, fucking Sue. Just call him Sue. He deserves to be called a girl's name. Anyway. Detroit, please. Please win. Please. Okay, now look. Here's the real deal here. I think Dallas is going to win this game, and they're going to win it rather convincingly. But I'll tell you what. That's my prediction. Because, frankly, Dallas is playing some of the hottest football right now going into the playoffs. They've already got the knowledge that even if they have Seattle ahead in the playoffs, that they've already beat them in Seattle this year. That's a team with a lot of motivation. It's Tony Romo having a career year. It's Des Bryant having a career year. It's so many players on that team overachieving. And DeMarco Murray, oh my God. Without Sue on that line, you're not going to see pressure as much on Romo. You're not going to see DeMarco getting shut down. But I'll tell you what, if Detroit pulls out a win here, you're not going to hear me laughing. You're not going to hear me pointing going, yeah, fuck you, Dallas. You lost to a team that had one of their best pieces missing and blah, blah, blah. When my team's rivals are in the playoffs and they get upset and my team's not there, I don't got much to say about that. I'll acknowledge whatever happened, whatever fuck-up happened, if they do end up losing. But frankly, let's be realistic. Detroit ain't going to win that game. I hope they do. Oh my God, please win that game. But realistically, I don't like your chances in that game. Anyway, time to sit back and watch every other team fight for Lombardi's trophy that isn't mine. Another year where the Eagles won't win the Lombardi trophy. What a great note to end this video on. Have a good day, everyone, and go Lions, please. Take care, guys.